This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're in the headquarters of Mr. Frank Warren. How are you, Frank?
I'm good. How are you, young man?
Yeah, good weekend?
It was okay, except for the Arsenal result. Other than that, it was okay.
Painful. Painful, isn't
Double
it?
painful, yeah.
Just touching into February now, Frank, and obviously it's a big sort of first few months for you coming up. Starting off at York Hall.
Yeah.
On the 24th of this month. The fighters that were meant to have been on the Copper Box show from the weekend are now all featuring on this show. So yeah, we get to see.
Yeah, rather belatedly, and unfortunately not on the Copper Box. Not that there's anything wrong with York Hall, except it's got like a eighth of the size of eighth of the capacity of the Copper Box. But we couldn't book the Copper Box. Plus, we lost our. We had trouble with Bradley Skeet's opponent. We also lost Tetty's fight, so it was a real big problem for us. But we're going with Anthony Yarde, who's defended his title against Tony Avalon, and we're going with Daniel Dubois, who's fighting D.L. Jones, and then we've got Zelfa Barrett against Ronnie Clark for the IBF European. So we've got a good, really good card there. All our youngsters and a lot of good ones on the, also on the card. A lot of good youngsters.
Those three fighters in particular, Frank, Anthony Yarde, Dan Dubois and Zelfa Barrett as well, all tipped for big things this year in 2018.
I hope so. They're great prospects and they've got great talent. They're all very talented. So I'm just hoping that by the end of the year they're, they've made their mark.
So moving on from there, you have another show on the 2nd of March, back at York Hall again.
Yeah, a lot of our youngsters are on there. We're giving them a run out. It's an off-TV show. It's not on TV, but we're giving them a run out. So that's I think it's more or less sold out. So it's done well. As is the other one. They're more or less sold out. Both the shows. I think they are sold out. So that gets all those out of the way, keeps the guys busy, and then we get down to our big show starting in April on BT.
April 14th at the O2, huge show, Frank. We've got an all-British world title fight between Billy Joe Saunders and Martin Murray. I know we spoke about this recently at the press conference, but it's kind of a last opportunity for Martin Murray.
It is. Yeah, it is. But you know what? These type of fights are always they always turn out to be good quality because there's obviously that thing that obviously they're two British fighters. It's not somebody coming in from abroad. Bill's on a roll at the moment. He looked brilliant last time out, taking David Lemieux to school. And Martin Murray, as you quite rightly say, it's his last opportunity as getting a crack at a title. He's had a couple where he should have maybe got the decisions. He's been very unlucky, but he knows this is his last big opportunity to get a shot at the title. So hopefully, not hopefully, I know he's going to come there, with 100% desire to come away with that belt. And I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it will be a good fight. I think the styles will turn that into a good event.
And obviously training out with Billy Joe Saunders in Spain at the moment is Terry Flanagan, who has the opportunity to become a two-weight world champion against Maurice Hooker. Yeah, which isn't going to be an easy fight, Frank.
No, it's not. Maurice Hooker's he's tall, he's tough, but I believe in Terry. He's been very unlucky. He's had this niggling injury he's been carrying for well over a year now, which has caused him a few problems. But he's already won a world title. He's coming up a weight. He's going to be hopefully become a double world champion, and he's really, really up for this. And I just feel again we're going to get a quality fight. So they're two really good events topping the bill there.
Obviously, a fight that's being spoken about at the moment is between Jorge Linares and Lomachenko, and interesting to hear Terry Flanagan's comments in the press conference and your comments that he wanted that fight, and obviously he's been linked with a fight with Jorge Linares as well. So
that's correct, but he came up a weight, as you know. But it's now it looks like Linares is coming up a weight. But he keeps asking me for the Lomachenko fight, and I think Lomachenko's a great fighter, and I think Terry's a really, really good quality fighter. But that tells you all about Terry Flanagan. He'll fight anybody. He wants to be tested. He wants the big fights. But first of all, he's got to win the super lightweight title, as they call it. He's got to win that. Become through that, then he's got a lot of options here, including some domestic options. You've got now, if you look at it, you've got Jack Catterall, who's fighting on the undercard at Leeds. He's the main support fight of the Leeds show, and you've also got O'Hara Davis is now coming to the frame. But their fight's there to be made. So there's some really good quality domestic matches, whatever happens against, if Terry's fighting Jack and Terry wins the title, you've got two undefeated fighters there, and they're both good quality fighters. So there's lots of exciting things going to happen this year. But it's all dependent on Terry prevailing and coming away with that belt.
Obviously, Terry Flanagan has moved up a weight now. It was never really given the correct recognition at lightweight,
I don't
was
think
he?
so. No, I mean, when he won the belt, it was unfortunate circumstances that the guy's arm came out of his shoulder, dislocated his arm. But I thought the first round it looked like he was really coping, and then his first defence, he was going in there, if you recall, as a real underdog, and he'd done a job. He absolutely done a job. I thought it was one of the best performances of a British fighter that year. So I'm really expecting Terry to step up to the plate for this one and show everybody, this injury hopefully is out of the way, and he can show everybody what he's got.
Well, some of the fighters that are featuring on the York Hall card on the 24th, could they still feature on the card on April the 14th?
It depends how it pans out, but of course I'd love to see Anthony and Daniel on there. I'd love to see them on there, but we'll see what happens. Got to get the 24th out of the way first of all. But we've got a cracking undercard anyway. We've got some really good fighters on there. We've got a nice couple of little London derbies. Besides, good quality main events, there's going to be some really good battles on the undercard, and hopefully some of our other our young prospects also on the show.
And then obviously a week later, Belfast will be alive for a wonderful fight between Frampton and Nonito Donaire.
Different class, isn't it? That's I think Donaire, I was looking at it, I think in my time in boxing, he's probably the best fighter that's ever gone to Belfast, outside of being an Irish fighter, to actually have gone there and challenged. So they're in for a treat. And Carl, he had a tough fight out last time with the opponent he picked. He's not even thought about taking an easy option again. I want Donaire, so he's got Donaire. But that tells you what he's all about. We're at the moment we're trying to get the fight to be an eliminator for the world title. Fingers crossed. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's where we are. And Carl's got a tough fight there, and this guy's not phased about travelling. So I think we're going to, and it's going to be as always, there's a great atmosphere there. It'll be sold out. It's going to be a fantastic atmosphere there, and again, I'm looking forward to it. I think we've only got about 500 tickets left, so that's going to be rocking on the night.
And there's some really good all-Irish clashes on the undercard as well, Frank.
We've got Conrad Cummings and Luke Killer on there. That's a great little fight, as is John O'Carroll and Marco McCullough. So we've got two really good quality all-Irish bouts there. And again, the fans, I think, are going to be in for a treat with that. And we're looking at maybe putting another title fight on there, which we're working on at the moment.
Frank, and then moving into May, the 19th of May at Ellen Road, another all-British world title clash.
Great fight. Lee Selby going into the Lions Den against Josh Warrington. Josh is so up for this, and I know Lee is, and I think, the fans are going to enjoy this one. They're really going to enjoy it. They're going to get the benefit of this. I think it's going to be a cracking fight. I really do. That's a contender for fight of the year. All these fights we're talking about are all good quality fights. And that is a cracking fight. And as I say, Jack Catterall will be on there, Nathan Gorman, Liam Woodstock, and Nicola Adams. Of
course. Is the plan for the winner of that fight to fight Frampton in the summer, Frank? Is that the plan?
That's what we're looking at the moment. But let's see how it all pans out, and we'll see where we go with it. I don't want to tempt fate. I want to see obviously Carl to come through, and then I want to see, and I'll make no bones about it. Everybody knows I'm in the Josh Warrington camp. I want to see Josh Warrington come through. That'd be a great fight, I'd say.
How have the tickets gone for that? Obviously, it went on sale recently.
We did a pre-sale, and I think they've done something like a third of the tickets just went like that. It's actually not even got
general sale.
So everybody's happy with that. That'd be good.
Definitely.
We're doing well. As I say, Belfast is done. The O2's doing really well, so we're happy.
Are you set to announce any more dates?
We are working on it, and in the next couple of weeks we'll be announcing a few more dates, a few more BT dates.
So Frank, just going back to that lightweight mix, obviously you recently made the acquisition of O'Hara Davies.
Yeah.
Is there like a plan that
I'd like to see those fights. I look back to the years ago, when you see various divisions, for example, not even years ago, look at now, you've got Selby, you've got Josh Warrington, you've got Carl, they're all good fights. You know, there's a nice group of fights you can make there, and it's the same as you can do in the lightweight division with Terry, with Jack, and also with O'Hara. So there's some good fights to be made there. And years ago, I used to love doing that. You know, I'd love putting the All British World Title fight on, or the All British fight, because you get so much more out of it, and more importantly, the fans identify it with. Unless there's somebody special like a Donaire that they know, or a well-known international fighter, they know the British fights. They know what they're going to get. They know they're going to see a fight. They know that, for example, Saunders and Murray is going to be a fight. They know that, and that's for me is what it makes it more competitive. And if it's more competitive, it means it can be a good fight.
We saw O'Hara Davis on Steve Bunce's show recently, and it's no secret to the fact that he's come out numerous times. Since obviously he's joined you and before, this reference to being thrown under the bus, but it's time to kind of maybe move away from that and focus on his career.
We pulled him out from under the bus. He's with us, and that's where he's at. He's now got to go out and do what he's got to do, which is fighting, because that's all that anybody at the end of the day. That's what we want, isn't it? We want to see what you got in the ring, and that's it. And he's got to move on from that now. It was an unfortunate time for him. I'm sure it's a regrettable period in his career, but now that's gone, and move on and onwards and upwards. As I say, there's some good fights there. Those three guys, as I say, if Terry comes through, makes a defence against one of them, and then the winner fights the other one. So it's there to be done.
Obviously, recently as well, Frank, Canelo and Golovkin's rematch was officially announced for May the 5th as expected. And like I said, this has got huge implications for the career of Billy Joe Saunders as well.
Well, it has. I mean, I've got to be honest, I don't think, if Canelo wins, I don't think Canelo will go anywhere near Bill. I think he'd frighten the life out of him in Canada. I was sitting on the front row, Eric Gomez from Golden Boy and so forth were there. They all thought Lemieux was going to do a job on Bill, which, as we all know, was not how it turned out, and I think he scared him off. But Tom Loffer's told me that he's been in touch saying he's interested in if his man wins. And let me tell you, Tom, as a matter of fact, so are we. And so's Bill. Bill, had a contract to fight, and he signed it and sent it back. So how serious Bill is about fighting Granada, who's a great fighter. But Bill, I think, is hitting the form that we know that and displaying the ability that I've always known that has been inside him. He's got the bit between his teeth. So providing he doesn't take, there's no banana skins with Martin Murray, providing he doesn't take Martin for granted, and I don't think he will do, then hopefully he could be in with the winner of that fight, or if it's Golovkin, and I fancy Golovkin as the favourite for that fight. If he's fighting Golovkin, it's going to be a great fight, fantastic fight in September.
I have seen some quotes from Tom Loeffler saying that their plan is to obviously have the fight with Canelo, beat Canelo, and then target Billy Joe Saunders, which is what they've kind of wanted for a while.
Well, they have, but you know what? We've got to get on with our life, and we have. But Bill wants the fight. I want the fight. And I want the fight. You know why I want it? Because I really do fancy Bill can... Let's go in. He ain't going to be favourite going, but I think Bill can cause an upset as far as the judges are concerned. I mean judges, I mean like people in boxing. I think he can cause an upset. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he beats him. Would not surprise me, because I know he's got the brain to do it. I just wish Billy Joe Saunders that we're seeing Lemieux and the focus and the preparation he's got now. I just wish he'd been like that when he fought Eubanks, because he beat Eubanks. But could you imagine what a job he'd have done on Eubanks if he hadn't been 70% like he was going into that fight?
I mean, despite having names like Chris Eubank and beating Andy Lee for the world title, it's
not a bad resume, is it?
No.
When you look at those names on there, he's beat them. Put Andy Lee, put him on the floor, and
twice.
Yeah. I mean, it's no slouch.
But is he just getting kind of a little bit of credit now?
Well, but he is getting a bit of credit now after the Lemieux fight. But he didn't deserve the credit what he's getting. What he's getting now he deserves. Back then, he did it under difficult circumstances of his own making, because he wasn't committed like he's committed now. So in some ways, it's a shame for him. I watch him and I look at him and I think, like the Eubanks fight, I watched that fight and I know he could have won that fight easier. And Andy Lee done brilliantly in the Andy Lee fight, there's no doubt about it. But now he's, working with Dominic Ingle, done it. They're a good team. They're working together hard. He's got a tough fight at the O2, a very tough fight on the 14th of April. That's no easy job for him. He comes through that. He can then go and set himself up for life. He can do that through his God-given ability as a boxer. He's a really good quality boxer. He's one of the best exponents of the art of hitting and not being hit on his day. And we've got to make sure every day's his day. Or every day he gets in that ring, that's the day. And I know the penny's dropped and he knows what he's capable of now.
The switch to Sheffield and to Dominic Ingall's gym seems to have been the best thing ever for Billy.
He's gotten out of his environment.
Yeah.
Look, don't get me wrong. Bill trained very hard with all the trainers. He trained hard. He worked hard in the gym, but it was what he was doing when he wasn't in the gym where he let himself down. Now he's out of that environment. He's living a life. He's living the life of a professional boxer, a professional athlete, and it's paying dividends for him.
We keep seeing social media posts from Mr. Tyson Fury, and everyone's kind of waiting, Frank, to see, he tweeted the other day to say he's got some big news. And what's the situation as of today?
He's Border Control lifted his suspension, and he's got to provide some medical clearances, and he'll get his licence back. As regarding his promotion, we're working very hard to get that sorted out.
I mean, all the signs seem to indicate that it is going to be a link-up with yourself, Frank.
I hope so. I hope that's going to be the case.
Okay. But
look, there'll be an announcement in due course from Tyson. I know that.
But the speculation that he may fight in April on one of those shows, is that looking up?
I'd love him to fight in April. I'd love him. He's got to be fit and rep well. I know he's lost a lot of weight. He's been constantly working in the gym. Some great reports, seen some of the videos. He looks good. He's got the hunger back. He's got the bit between his teeth. He seems to have settled down with Ben, his trainer. He seems to be, those guys seem to be have formed a good relationship. So we'll see what happens.
He was recently stripped of the Ring magazine belt, Frank.
It's a shame, really, it is. But you know what? He's Tyson Fury. He's the linear champion of the world. He never got beat by anybody. He lost his titles out of the ring. He vacated them through some personal problems that he was going through. So, until anybody beats him, they can't consider to be a true world champion until they beat him. In my mind, anyway.
But just to see him back in the gym, losing the weight, that was always the first step as well, Frank.
Of course it was. And it's that mentality to do that. But he has got a bit between his teeth. He's been constant training. As you say, he's down in Spain, and he's working down there, and he's working very hard down there. And he looks in good shape. And certainly, I spoke to him over the weekend, and he was in a good frame of mind.
He definitely seems in a good frame of mind. Judging from his post that he's regularly doing to kind of keep everyone updated, which is great for fans, but he does seem like he's in a good place again.
Yeah, I think he is. I think, as I say, he's really enthusiastic about coming back. He's enthusiastic about getting his belts back. That's what he wants. He makes no secret of that, and that's what he wants to do. But all will I think very soon all be revealed as to what he's doing.
We'll certainly look forward to that. Look, Frank, the weekend before last, there was a couple of fights on, and one particular I want to speak to you about is for pure numbers, really. There was a fight on YouTube. I don't know how familiar you are with YouTube, Frank. Even though this is going on YouTube.
I know you. What do you think I'm YouTube?
Well, I'm just
I get on it every day. I go from the Angel Tube station down to...
That's the one.
Was that on it? Right.
That's the one. There was a fight involving two YouTubers that,
it's amazing, isn't it? When you look at that, you look
tens
at
of
that,
millions of views.
But it tells you about the strength of social media, and it tells you about a young audience and what they're looking at. I thought that was quite phenomenal. When you look at, there's a show going out on Sky and there's that going out, and you're looking at the disparity in viewers. That's knocking opposition or anything. If I'd have done it, you're looking at it thinking, wow, this is something that obviously captures a young generation or a generation's imagination. I'm sure the average age of those people who've watched that on YouTube are very, very young. Must be a very young audience, but it's fantastic. that it's boxing that has got an audience like that. You know, that they wanted to watch it. So it tells you a lot about, you know, how people feel about boxing.
I think the numbers are around the 20 million mark who watched it.
Yeah, amazing.
But would the message be for them to try and do that again? Because
listen, they're not schmucks, are they? They're going to do what they've got to do, and good luck to them. They've done fantastically well to go and have the wherewithal and the to go have the balls to go and put a show on. Good luck to them. Well done to them. Take me out. Fired one on.
But I mean, we've seen kind of the YouTube thing with Hughie Fury's fight with Joseph Parker, but I suppose this.
Well, look at the difference in the audiences. It tells you what are people looking for. What are they looking for? You know, that was a world title fight, heavyweight world championship of the world. The other one was, you know, fairly novice guys fighting, but it's the reach they've got that brings in obviously the viewers, and they had a bigger reach than that particular version of the world heavyweight title.
I mean, the question to promoters is who've kind of watched that and seen, even though it is two different things, Frank, to a certain degree, but is there anything that you kind of could take from that in any way?
Yeah, I think it is the social media experience for you know that you want to provide to people. But you can't have everything, you know. From our perspective, we're BT, we're BoxNation, and you can only do so much. You have exclusive agreements with TV companies, so you can't have everything. You can try and have everything, but to be honest, you know, delivering these fights that we've mentioned, these world title fights, which are quite expensive, and tickets are much more expensive than what happened at the Copper Box. You need the financial involvement of a BT or indeed a Sky to make those type of events happen. But it's there, and I'm sure that little acorn's been planted in the ground and it's going to grow. There's no doubt about that.
Definitely were crazy numbers. Did you watch any of the matchroom show between Akoli and Chamberlain, Frank?
I watched some of it. I told you I always watch the fights. I watched some of it before I dozed off.
So yeah, you disappointed with the main event, Frank?
Well, I think me along with most people. I mean, that can happen to anybody, any promoter, whatever. But I sort of scratched my head and wonder why it was a main event. That for me was quite a. What on earth was that doing as a main event? The only reason I could think that's happening is because Sky have given Anthony Joshua a date to work on with Matchroom. That's the only reason, because that was not main event material to me. Certainly was not to me. That was like a, well, it just wasn't. But it was a pretty boring fight.
There's a fight this week, Frank, between Eubank and Groves.
Good fight. It's a good fight.
Which is on ITV. Yeah, your thoughts on this, Frank?
Initially, I really did feel. George Groves is I like George. He's a good warrior, but he's vulnerable. He can be hit, and we've seen him stopped. Chris Eubanks, and I want to talk about his the last fight he had, because I didn't think that opponent was the greatest opponent in the world. He's come up a weight. He's got a good work rate. He's not a phenomenal puncher, as we've seen him. Fighting shooting off some people like that. He's not a phenomenal puncher. But I watched the fight. He's got a good work rate, and but he can be hit and he can be caught. If George catches him, and George has got a good jab. If George can catch him, will he take a shot from George Groves? Will he be able to do that? It's one of those fights. I'm a little undecided on it, and I don't like sitting on the fence. But I sort of lean towards Groves on it. I lean towards Groves, but it wouldn't surprise me if it turned out the other way around, because we've seen George be beaten. We've seen him beaten in fights.
Have you seen the comments from the scene, and Groves?
Do you know what? I do my column in the Star, and I said what I want to say. He comes out with horrible things, but that's what he is. Deep down, he's a horrible person. He's not a genuine person, I've always said he's a phony. And to be, you know, that fight doesn't need all that nastiness. That fight is a good fight. You want to watch it, I want to watch it. I'm going to watch it. I'll buy that fight and I'll watch it because it's a good fight. What's it got to talk about? You know, people dying and people getting badly hurt. Now, if that's how he feels about it, what is he letting his son get in the ring for? If he feels that way, why is he letting his boy get in the ring? You know, it's him again, coming out with his cheap bullshit. You know, he's one of those. He's got to have something to say about everything, and unfortunately, he comes out with some stupid things. And this is yet again another one of his stupid comments. And I think it doesn't deserve more comment from me or anybody than that. He is just stupid, and at times comes out with classless comments.
Do you think the overall tournament has been a success though, Frank? The World Boxing Series?
You know, there's been some good fights. Well, have there been some good fights? Yeah. This fight, on paper, looks a really good fight. Some of the others have been not so good, you know. But it's a tournament. I don't think it's involved the best. If you look at it, there's a lot of fighters who should have been in, or not say should have been in, but weren't in it. And if they're not in it, then it's not involving the best. But the idea is a really good idea. It's a good, you know, it's a pretty good, you know, we're getting this fight out of it. You know, the cruiserweights went down well, but again, it's a shame for the cruiserweights. They walk down the street, no one knows who they are. There's not that interest, and it's not taking any interest in the States with the cruiserweights, which is a great shame because I think that's been more entertaining.
Frank, you've recently signed some amateur stars who are about to turn professional, including James Branch from Repton.
Yeah. Special Branch.
He's
our man. I looked after his dad years ago. His dad was with me years ago. Yeah, he signed from us. He's a nice young lad. And I like his dad. His dad and I go back quite a long time. But he's, I'm really pleased that he's on board with us. He's been trained by Martin Bowers, so I'm pleased with that. And we'll be announcing his first date in the next week or so.
Obviously, a few more have come in through the door. Are we to expect more, Frank?
Yeah, we signed Canelo-Ggg, who from Bolton, who I really like. Good little fighter. Fought for representing England. I'm expecting him to really settle down well, become a good pro.
It's interesting as well, isn't it? You've obviously, there's a lot of fighters that where you sign them from start and you see the whole journey, Frank, and it's going to be the same pace.
It's nice to do that. Cause it's nice to be, looking at your judgment, saying, right, sign this guy. Do I think what can we do? How can we help and move him along? And it's nice to be on that journey with them, and it's worked out with some of them, and some it's not. But these are decent young guys, and they've got a long way to go yet. A long way to go. So professional boxing is the toughest sport to take up. It's the toughest sport to be involved with. Anything can happen. One punch can change a career. But these couple of lads are decent kids.
Frank, I want to ask you about the link up now you have with IMG. Yeah. Who acquired the UFC, and now you're working with them, Frank. Can you tell us a little bit about the association?
They're representing us now worldwide with our events, and we're delighted that we're to be doing that, to have done that deal with them, and we're looking to work together with them and us in exploring other opportunities to put in some big shows together. We've got a great relationship with them, and I think it'll go from strength to strength. They are sport through and through. They're a big company, and I'm working with them, and also us working with BT. That's a good team to have.
Definitely seems to have strengthened your position then, Frank, with this news. Yeah. So moving forward, obviously we've seen the affiliation heavily with the UFC and what they've done. So are you hoping that
paid $4.2 billion for UFC? I mean, they didn't mess around, did they?
No.
The relationship's been built up with in my office with George, my son, and Ben. They've done a really good job together working with IMG and myself, and we're now looking forward to move it into bigger and better things. And there's some great opportunities there. Some great opportunities that between us we can, as I say, explore and I'm quite sure make happen.
Going back to your fighters, Frank, is there any more news on Liam Smith and Sam?
I'm negotiating at the moment with Golden Boy and Ali, and I expect this week, one way or another, we'll either do a deal or we'll go to purse bids. But Liam can't be sitting around waiting any longer. This week is the week to get it sorted out.
Because there was talk of that fight being put on the Canelo and
there was, but we had an offer and that's not suitable. So anyway, we're talking and we'll see where we go with it.
Okay. What else is going on, Frank?
Lots of things are happening. We got what's going on. We're working very hard, putting some really good fights together, and working on a couple of other little things that we're keeping up our sleeve at the moment. But we got some good things happening, and as I say, we're really we really expect to have a really good year. I think it's going to be a good year for British boxing. I think it's going to be a good year for BT's boxing and BoxNation. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing, which is delivering the goods and bringing the big fights in.
So you said, obviously, previously in the interview that you have more dates that you're going to announce.
Yeah.
Is that for May, June? Are we creeping into those months now?
May, June, July. We're going to get them out there, get our dates. We're trying not to get any more clashes of dates. We're trying to get our dates out there, so they're out there, and then hopefully there's going to be no clashes, because that's not good for the game, for the sport, and certainly not good for the fans.
Frank, I recently did an interview, not last weekend, the weekend before, with Frank Buglioni, and there has been a bit of back and forth going on between him and your fighter, Anthony Yard. I know you spoke about it in press conferences before, but it seems again that this fight won't happen. I
made an offer for it to make it happen. No one's even come back to us. We made written offers, so no one's come back. The only way you're going to find out this, I think Frank Buglioni will take the fight, but Don Charles won't. So Don, put up a shut, mate. You know I love you dearly. You know that. If your man wants it, let's make it. If not, let's move on, because that's another one that's becoming a bore. It's a good fight. It's a quality fight. You know, everybody's got their opinions who will win it. I've got my opinion. We made an offer. We didn't even get the courtesy of a response for our offer. But if we want to make the fight, let's make it. Let's get it done. Not a problem at our end. Willing to go. That door, it's not open. It's been knocked off the hinges, waiting for it to happen.
But it seems though Anthony and Frank both want that fight.
I want it.
Yeah.
They want it. That's three of us want it. But do the management want it, or the promoters want it? Not the promoter or the trainer. Do they want it? That's the bottom line.
If it came down to it, where it was Anthony Yard fighting on Buglioni.
But I told you we did. Just stick 2 sealed bids in. The winner gets it. I haven't got a problem with that. Let's do it. That's all you got to do. Look, you can open up the bids, right? We'll give you the 2 bids to open. IFL can open the bids. Let's just do it. If we want the fight, let's do it. We want it. We want the fight. I've made offers, written offers. You want to see them, I'll show them to you. Significant offers, no response. Not even, I've hurt my ankle or my aunt is not well or so. Just no answer at all. Nothing.
Okay. We want to see that fight, Frank.
We all want to see. We want to see the good fights. Of course, we want to see the good fights. What boxing's all about, delivering a good fight. Less talk and more action. That's what we want to see. We want to see the fight. And even if you don't want it, at least have the courtesy of dropping us a line or email us saying sorry, we don't want it, rather than keep saying you want it and not even answering. And I love Frank Buglioni dearly. He's a nice guy. I think he's credit to so's Anthony as well. Anthony Yard is the same.
We shall see what happens. Right, Frank, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, nothing I can think of.
Really?
No.
Nothing on your chest? No one aggravating you in the sport this week?
No.
Or last week?
No.
This morning?
No one's aggravating me. I don't get aggravated.
No?
What are you looking at?
No. All right, Frank. Well, listen, we'll catch up, obviously, ahead of the 24th of Feb.
Yep.
At your call, that's your next show, and then
it is, and fingers crossed that all come through, and then we can make some announcements after that as regarding if any of the guys be fighting on the O2 show.
Frank Warren, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, and We'll catch you soon.
Thank you, iFilm TV.